exactly
I mean, that's kind of what's going on with the Democratic Party today, though, right?
With what? Great pivot.
Right? That's what's going on with the Democratic Party today.
I think what you're talking about, like their lack of ability to kind of understand where kind of mainstream America's sentiments are.
The only guy that's saying we screwed up with transgender is Newsom. The only guy that's
Well, he wants to be president.
He wants to be. He reads like he's got to get to the center, but
Yeah.
everybody else like no, trans this, and we still believe in this, and we that is not fair, and that you better call him a woman because she is a woman. No, he's a man. No, and there's the ruckus on what was it, House Congress, Rob, the one congressman got up and speaks, and they were upset because somebody called him sir. You know which one I'm talking about, Rob?
Yes,
that this
Sal-
happened? Yeah. I mean, they still don't want to give that up. That's a dude, right?
That's a dude.
Which
Okay.
one? Which one? The senator? Or there's a congressman that's trans? Is that what you're saying?
Of course there is.
Is
This one right
watch
here.
This. Go for it.
I recognize the representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Mr. McBride.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ranking Member Keating, also wonderful.
Mr. Chairman,
Madam
could you
Chair.
repeat your introduction again, please?
Yes, we have set the
Representative.
standard on the floor of the House, and I'm simply.
What is that standard, Mr. Chairman?
The
Would you
standard-
repeat what you just said when
I-
you introduced a duly elected representative from the United States of America? Please.
I will. The representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Mr. Chairman, you are out of order.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, have you no decency?
Okay.
I mean,
So-
I've come to
Which
know
one
you a
is
little
Mr.
bit, but this is
McBride?
not-
All the way
on the right.
Right here.
Can you pull up the picture
I
of Mr.
mean, at
McBride?
least it looks like.
So she's a
woman.
trans woman,
Yeah.
right?
Trans woman.
So like this is the thing that actually I think is where everybody loses. If she wants to identify as like a woman, and you want to call her, and that's what she wants you to call her, just fucking call her a woman. It's not
going to happen.
okay. Let me make the whole argument.
Please make the argument.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
so curious what this.
Let me make the whole argument.
Give it to us.
I don't think the average person thinks that much about trans, especially the average conservative person. What I think the frustration was, and now they shouldn't have that frustration because now they're in power, but I think the frustration was for years they felt like there was a lot of there's a lack of, I think, common sense is the rhetoric that you're seeing now from the right, that there was a lack of common sense with like Democrat ideology and the things they were pushing through. And trans is just the highest rung of the ladder. So it would start at something like this. And this is what a lot of my friends were hearing. It's like, we don't call people Latinos or Latinas. We call them Latinx. And then you would go to your friends and you'd be like, what do you like? Yo, do y'all want to be called Latinx? And they'd be like, I don't even know what the fuck that is, right? And then you'd go back to your work and be like, yeah, I spoke to some of my Spanish friends that they don't even know what Latinx is. And then the reaction is, how dare you? What are you, some bigot? That's racist. Stop being so insensitive. So immediately you get taken back. You go, okay, wow. I was just asking questions. I spoke to my Spanish friends. They said that they don't even want to be called that. But all right, this kind of feels weird, but I'm not going to push back. Then you find out that like a drag queen is teaching English at your school or something like that, which I know is blown out of proportion, but still you hear a story about it and you're like, you just go into the school, you're like, hey, just out of curiosity, why is there like a drag queen like teaching the kindergartners how to read? What is that about? How dare you? What are you, some bigot? But they're a performer. We have performers come in here all the time. Be like, okay, I'm just asking a question. You keep calling me a bigot. And the feeling, the emotional feeling for like the parent or the person in that situation is, hey, this doesn't really make sense. And everybody's kind of pretending. And then the final rung of that ladder is trans women competing in women's sports, right? And I think that not that many people are actually really caring about trans people or thinking about them every single day, but it's like, it's the argument that is infallible. You present it to your friend that is like, staunchly Democratic, you present it to your congressman, you're like, hey, do you think this is unfair? You made me feel like a bigot with the Latinx thing. You made me feel weird about the drag queen thing. But this is 1 + 1 = 2. And if you refute that, it's actually very comforting for the conservative because you go, oh, this whole time I was being gaslit into thinking I was the crazy person when in reality, you're not operating on like an honest playing field. You're caught up in the ideology. So I think that's really what it is. So I don't care if some trans person wants me to call them a woman. Like, I'm going to call you a woman. I'm not going to like put my fucking foot down about it. I don't
Andrew,
give a
if
fuck.
I told you right now, call me daddy, would you call me daddy?
No.
Why not?
Well, because
Call
you're
me
not my
daddy,
dad.
Andrew.
But you're not my dad.
But I want you to call me. I view myself as your daddy.
Well, but you're not my dad.
But you're right. They're
Yeah.
not. She's not a man.
But if you want
she's
me to,
not a woman.
But
she's
if you
a
wanted
man.
me to call you son, I would call you son.
Yeah, I get what you're doing here. You're having fun with it, right?
No, I'm not. It doesn't affect me at all. Calling me daddy
son-
insults my dad.
Yeah, but
But,
calling you ma'am insults my intelligence. It insults science. It insults facts. It insults, an actual. You were born a man. You want me to call you a woman because it hurts your feelings?
So this is where I think
It's-
about like, and obviously I don't think there's ever going to be like a version of us like getting some understanding of this, but like I think the greater concern is this becoming a social trend and there being like young influential kids that start making decisions about their body that are irreversible. And as a parent, I obviously have a concern about that, right? Because you start taking these hormones, you start lopping shit off your body, you're not going to get that back. Like this is like a really dangerous potentially situation. But if you ask me if there are 8 billion people on the planet, right? 8 billion people on the planet, and I see a person born with a foot coming out of their head on Instagram every other fucking day, weird shit happens.
Sure.
To me, the weirdest shit, body dysmorphia or whatever it is, or gender dysmorphia, like to me, that's not like unbelievable. If 8 billion people on the planet, God, there are kids born with fucking cancer. Like there are crazy things that happen in our existence, and that's not even close to one of the craziest.
Yeah, but this
This is a different story.
This is a different story because this is not something that happens naturally. This is something that happens 5, 10, 15, 20 years into your life where you want to play dress up. How many days a year is Halloween? 1 day a year. But you want to play Halloween and dress up every single day. And you want me to pretend that you're a leprechaun or a ghost or a donkey every single day
We
of
have
the
a
year.
disagreement, I think, when it comes to like leprechaun or ghost or daddy or any of those things. I think that we're on the same page.
He makes me call him daddy every single day. It's fine. I do it.
I get it.
But go ahead, Andrew. Go
But
ahead.
I get emails from daddy and
I guess what I'm saying is like where this is like a perfect example of like where the conversation gets lost and both sides kind of can't unify. Like another example is even like Doge. Like I don't think that there's any American that is for waste, bloat, and like overspending. Like I don't think any American is like, I believe in that outside the ones profiting from it.
Yep.
Right? But because the issue has become so like antagonistic, now you got people lighting up fucking Tesla dealerships, and it's like, wait a minute, this is supposed to be a bipartisan supported issue. Like we should come together on this and go, hey, let's find the right way to do it. I mean, maybe doing it with the hatchet or however, Elon and Doge has been doing isn't the best way, but let's find a way to make sure that our government agencies are refined and, lean, if you will. I think all Americans can support that. When we get into like the trans, there's a lot of emotional things that are going on here, which I get. There's a lot of like, religiosity that informs it also. I get that. But the core agreement, like, I think it's more about like who is being hurt, right? I don't want to see these girls compete against these people who are born as men. I don't want to see that. Whether some fucking barista wants to put on makeup and say her name is like Sally, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm not in your life. Stay out of mine. That's the way I look about it. When it becomes a social trend and I have to worry about these things with my kid and the school is told to affirm whatever gender they say, now you're in my life.
How old's your oldest?
I have one kid, 13 months old.
Okay, so when the 13 becomes 13
Yeah.
and conversations at night when you go home changes,
Of course.
your level of tolerance for these things will change.
Dude,
Let me-
Yeah. This is where I think it's really important. Yeah.
So the part for me, like for example, the other day this guy says, I don't give a shit. Who cares about this auto pen, whether he signed it or not, and the da 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 da, and who cares about Fauci, whether he signed the pardon or not? Adam's saying this, right? I said, okay. So I said, Adam, the reason why you don't care is because you're an anomaly. You don't live the average person doesn't live your life. The average person has a car. This guy's an Uber 24/7, right? He lives a very different life. Okay. No, that's his choice. He chooses to do it. Everybody on the outside thinks every day this guy's getting fired. He's been here for God knows how many years now. So that's not the case. We get along. But the point is, what happened during COVID to a lot of parents, they saw that you're like, because we all used to be like, dude, I don't give a shit. I just told you guys a story before going live where I used to go club, and I'm like, I never gave a shit.
Yeah.
Do you do your thing? I'm going to do my thing. We're good. We're
Yeah.
totally fine, right? I was hanging out with Frank Sinatra's son.
Yeah.
So, but
Daddy
That's a
Mac.
joke, folks. Don't go and say Patrick this because that story's he's gonna call and say that's not true. I never hung out with that guy. But the point is, with you age, you get older, and you're like, whoa, I don't know. You're a little okay. Maybe they have a point. I don't know about that. Cross the line, dude. You know what? Here's what we're doing. I'm moving forward. Stay over there.
Yeah.
I'm not playing your card because the way caving works, caving comes in steps. Before there's a high level of cave, there's 3 levels below it that's an easier cave.
Yeah.
Once you cave here, you're like, it's not a big deal. Then you cave here. I really don't want to, but it's not a big deal. Then listen, you already cave on okay. And then you're like, dude, I am caved on things that I fully don't agree with. That's what happened with a lot of voters.
Yeah.
A lot of voters got so caught up. They're like, dude, I'm a John F. Kennedy Democrat. Man, what the hell is going on with this Democratic Party? I guess I have to kind of vote this way, but I don't agree with this. I don't agree with that. Kind of got lost in translation. So I don't know. To me, I feel like it's a little bit too much of pushing the envelope to expect me to call you a man, expect me to call you a woman. You just dressed up. It's totally fine. I'm going to call you Mr. McBride. It's great to have you.
And he still has his testicle, by the way. And I could see, Andrew, if it was, okay, you went for the gusto. Like, by the way, I was at the mall this weekend. No joke.
With him?
Well, I'm saying, no.
No, because you said he saw his testicles.
No, I'm saying.
How do you know he still has his
Yeah,
testicles?
how do you know what's going on below the
I'll bet
belt?
you any
Vinny?
money Sarah McBride still has balls.
But how do you know?
I know. His voice
Okay,
is
so
still
you said
deep.
you were at the
How
mall
do
with
you
him
I'm
this
at the
weekend.
mall. I'm at the mall.
How does
and I'm
Vinny know what's going on between these
mind
people's
you, this is real talk. I
legs
even
out
told
here?
I told Rob I'm walking. I had to call my mom because I was dying laughing. I'm walking out of the mall. I told Natalia, and I just look out the corner of my eye. This dark skin, like Latina, Asian. I was like, whoa,
Latinx,
beautiful.
Vinny, Latinx.
And he turns around, and it's a dude. It's a
Gotcha.
and I was like, ow! We had a moment
Did
of
it
like,
hold you back is the real question.
we hooked up in the car. But listen, anyway, so I was like, so my thing is this, bro. You know what it is? Just the laziness of the white trans guys. The white trans men are just lazy, bro. If you're gonna go for the gusto, go for it. Cut everything off, lob everything off. Because you know what the problem is, Andrew? We're not saying it what it is. This is a mental disorder. Everybody, we're just going all the way to the finish line. Call me what I want, and that's it. The problem is, bro, they're pretending. You can pretend to be what you want. This is a free country. But to force somebody to agree with your reality is a problem we get, because think about it. If we didn't nip this in the bud as a country, of course it would get rampant. Are we the gayest we've ever been in the country right now, 2025? 100%.
Yes.
1 out of 4 high school kids identifies as LGBTQ, whatever the hell.
Vinny just threw extra vowels in there.
No, I'm just saying there's so many letters, there's so many things. At what point do we have to just be like, nah, man, this is.
I want to hear Andrew's argument.
go ahead.
I want to see what he's going to say.
So I think that like one of the big concerns is obviously protecting your children, right? And I think that both sides are actually trying to protect children. I think when parents, and you're rightfully concerned, I'm rightfully concerned, is that I wouldn't have control of the ability to protect my child. Right? If the school goes, hey, we don't need to ask your parents for you to take hormones, I start going, wait a minute, hold on. That's my child. I want to make the decisions that I think are best for them. And you're getting in the way of that. And I agree with you. That knee-jerk reaction that any parent, like I definitely would feel as a parent, is like, whoa, what the fuck is going on here? Why are you doing stuff with my kid without allowing me? If my kid wants to go to the museum, I got to sign some paperwork so they can go, but not so they can, grow tits. Like it seems obviously like there's this like real emotional reaction that is you want to protect your child. Now, if I'm going to have empathy for the other side, it's somebody who went through that brutal process in their life, and they go, I want to protect a child that might be trans from the horrors that I experienced growing up with people not understanding what this is. I think a lot of these people are well-intentioned, but they have to understand, and maybe one day they'll have kids and they'll get it, how important it is to us to protect our children. And anytime you make me feel even slightly that you could be putting ideas in my kid's head that I don't like, or even removing my autonomy to protect my child, I'm going to respond with a force that you've never seen before in your entire life. And I'm going to be incredibly blunt about it, and I don't care how it makes you feel. When it comes to protecting my child, it doesn't matter how it makes you feel. So you're going to get the harshest, most coarse arguments out of me unless you meet me where I am emotionally. Like, I think anybody that's trying to, for lack of a better, like push trans agenda has to understand what parents might feel. before they're putting any sort of legislation out there. And I think there's actually a lack of empathy for the parents. There's a lot for the kids. I think they're actually coming from this place of like, I want to protect these kids. They believe that's their version of protection, but not enough for the parents.
Schulz,
I saw a tweet the other day that said, I feel sorry for the parents if a kid who they raise well later on transitions and becomes transgender. Okay?
If the kid, if you're sorry for the...
You raise them well, and then later on they're an adult, 24
Right.
years old, they transition and become transgender. He says, but I feel sorry for the kid when they transition, when they're a teenager, and I blame the parent. So to me, a part of what happened is, in Hollywood, you're looking at all these guys, and their kids are trans, and it's like a competition. -2, -2, me too, me too, me too.
A lot of them.
So that's the pure pressure of being accepted. Then on the other side, when you're talking about empathy, I feel empathy for kids all the flipping time when I meet them. Because the kid is not yet fully developed. I'm like, dude, I truly feel bad for this kid.
Yep.
But he's not coming to, we're not raising him. He's going to go to those parents' house. And if you say something, the parents, you're now in that. So you sympathize with the kid. You try to give some feedback to the parents if there's a relationship there. Typically, there's not. So then you're like, dude, I'm asked out. I really want to find a way to do something with this. I feel bad for the kid. And then on the other side, when you're like a parent comes up and a father came up to me, one of our neighbors, he says, hey, my son just told me this, and we're at dinner at Casa D'Angelo, Jennifer sitting right next to me. The man is crying. He's in his mid-50s. He's like, what do I do?
Yeah.
And then I feel for him because he's not doing it. But the part about this that's the black and white, not the gray area, we should be compassionate. We should have empathy. Even for this guy named McBride, we should have empathy for him. What caused him to get here? What happened with his upbringing with his parents?
Yeah.
What happened? I don't know. I feel bad. Like even when the Chelsea Handler thing was going on, and she's talking shit to Adam. Adam's talking shit to Chelsea, the lifestyle she lives. And then you go and look it up, bro. She was 9 years old. Her love of her life was her older brother, 22 years old. He decides to go camping. He's climbing a mountain or whatever it is. He falls and he dies. Never comes home. Dad was, I believe, a car dealership salesman. And she is devastated. The house is devastated. She sees the most powerful man in her house, her father, not know how to handle it. Yeah, of course she's not going to want to have any kind of commitment. You know that kind of pain? So these are the things we're not aware of.
Yeah.
We should have compassion.
That's beautiful.
We should have empathy.
That's beautiful empathy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's true empathy. You feel bad for it, right? But at the same time, that still doesn't justify me having to call you a man. My opinion.
Or what about the empathy towards someone in your position? Like, what would you want them to understand? What would you want someone operating in good faith? They think what they're trying to do is they're like, I believe in trans. I want to make sure that kids are able to do this if they do feel comfortable. How would you like them to have empathy for you? What do they not understand about you as a parent? Like, these are the discussions I think a lot of times we don't have because there's this like dunk on culture.
Right.
So like, what is it you'd like someone in good faith?
right.
They're not a psychopath. They're someone who's really trying to make the best decision.
Okay, so you said something earlier. You said, I think both sides care about kids. I don't know. I think the percentage would be more people on the right care for kids than those on the left. Okay? Why? Because more people on the right have kids than those on the left. Unless the poor, where it's kind of like because of the benefits that you have that you're paying that's a different structure I'm talking about. When you break that down and then you come to people, you read these marriage books, How to Have a Great Marriage, written by a person with 6 divorces. Yeah, because I have experience. Hey, this is how you should raise your kids. How many kids do you have? I don't have any kids, but this is how you should raise them.
Right.
I'm sorry, buddy. Like me giving you advice on how to be a comedian. Do you know how pathetic that is for me to give you advice on how to be a comedian?
Yeah.
Do you realize how insane that is for me to tell you, you know what, Andrew? That roast you did on Tom Brady, I think you missed the mark, bro. I think you should.
We do this with geopolitics.
Yeah, no, I get that. But that,
You know what I mean? Like, but this is what we do all the time.
but that's opinion. But for me to tell you from a place of an expert to say, here's what you should have done, and we should all over you, right? That's a different story.
Yes.
But in this part, the people that tell others how to raise kids and you don't have them, stay out of the way. Okay. The people that like
Why though? Why? This is good.
Dude, the reason why you're special, I don't just say everybody has to go watch it.
Yeah.
The reason why you're special was so awesome
Yeah.
is because couples go through that and they're embarrassed to talk about it publicly.
Yeah.
And you put it out there, you're like, are you it is so embarrassing that you almost made everybody feel like dude, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, that was one
It's
of the
okay
goals.
That's
Yeah.
you humanized yourself, and indirectly you unified marriages. You probably saved a lot of marriages with the special of yours in the craziest way. Why though? Because you have moral authority. Because you went
Right, I
through
went
it.
through it. Yeah,
So
yeah.
so I'm like, you know what? I like that.
Yeah.
So to me, I have a problem with the LGBTQ community that's never had a kid to tell me how to raise a kid and I should be doing this. Knock it off. Okay. Go have a few kids. See how hard it is to have a few kids. Raise them. And if you want to raise them on your values, go for it. These are the values I want to raise them on.
And that's the problem.
Real quick on this, but I think the really important part is going, hey, you guys don't have kids, so you don't understand. Well, maybe some of them do, but like you don't understand the feelings that I'm having right now, where I want to protect my child, right? And I think that conversation is very important. Not whether who's right or who's wrong, but them understanding where you are emotionally. Because we're emotional beings. There's that great Jonathan Haidt book, The Righteous Mind. I don't know if you guys have read it, right? Like we react emotionally and then we retrofit justifications onto our emotions. So them understanding that, like somebody pushing legislation through that, like you don't need to ask a parent permission to start hormones for a kid, right? Tell me that wouldn't terrify every parent. Why are they not having a conversation with parents, at least the parents in the PTA, to be like, how do you guys feel about this? And I understand your concern about social contagion when you hear about all these like people in Hollywood who have kids and the percentage of their kids that are trans seems to be way more. That's very concerning as a parent. So like these conversations, I think would be the most beneficial.
Can I give you the next
Please?
part? Yeah. So here's the next part.
Do you get what I'm saying?
For sure, bro. By the way, Jonathan Haidt also wrote another book called The Anxious Generation. It's a must
Yeah,
read.
this is
Same guy, phenomenal guy. He's fair. He's a liberal, but he's very fair, and I like the way he breaks it. He is a liberal, but he's very fair.
Most liberals can't be fair.
But
We all know that.
you know what word you used? You know
that?
what was the word you used when
What's
he asked
that?
me the question? What was the word? How do I feel?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. I get the feeling part, but there's a part of it that where feelings out the window when it's reason based on facts.
Mm-hmm.
When we get there, I don't care how I feel. For example, Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
We've had him on 3 times.
Yeah.
Every time we have him on, you know what people say?
What's that?
I can't believe you have a former, pedo girls, rape, all. Have you seen these videos? I'm like, yeah, I've seen the videos. Personally, I'd like to see him be innocent. I'd like the charges to be dropped, personally, because of the time I've spent with him, and he reminds me of a guy in the Army that we hung out with, and we got along.
Yeah.
Personally.
I think.
But let me tell you, if the court proves
Yeah.
and the stuff is there and it's all proven, then guess what? I can't debate the facts. Those are the facts. If that's conclusive, right? And it's shown. So this is where there is the feelings, the relationship. My son, I go to school. I don't want my son to be the one, hey, he hit the other kid.
Right.
Or he said this. You go and you're like, my son. And then you're like, show me the facts. Well, here's a tape. Oh, shit. Yeah, he did. There's a facts. I can't. So you're a dude. That's a fact. I know it hurts your feelings, but you're a guy.
I think that you said something important there about Tate. Like, we should all hope that he's innocent. Nobody should be hoping that he's a pedophile. Because if you're
Or a
hoping
human trafficker
or a human
or a
trafficker,
rapist or
yeah, like because if you're
running a
hoping
ring,
that, think
of
about
course.
that, right? Like,
A lot of people are, though.
yeah, but think about what that means. That means you feel a certain way towards someone, and you would for that feeling to be validated, you would rather a kid be raped or a woman be abused and women be sex trafficked, right? So I think that's something where we got to pause and go, we hope that that's not the case. I hope that no girl was raped on Epstein's Island. I hope that it's probably not the case, but I don't want that to have happened. You're saying,
course,
this is the world that we should live in, right?
Well, it's trial by social media or trial by media versus an actual trial because
These
much of the
people end
world
up-
has proven him guilty.
But they end up
but
being
the courts
tools
haven't.
for your own satisfaction. My point is, and we don't want children to be tools for our own satisfaction. We don't want girls that are sex trafficked to be tools for our own emotional validation. That's a dangerous place to be in. I mean, I think the Tate thing is like very simple. It's like, has he been proven guilty? No. Okay. Are they still trying him? Sure. He's an American citizen. There was this conversation about not letting back here. Like, American citizens get to come back to America. They're protected no matter where the fuck they go. And I believe in free speech. You can say whatever you want. That being said, if you shit on America, I'm a patriot. I love America. So if you shit on America, and then when the going gets rough, you come crawling back, you're going to get made fun of. It's very simple. If you shit on America and then it gets tough over there and then you come crawling back, not because Trump got elected, because he was elected, but last time you didn't come back. So just acknowledge that it got tough out there and that the West is the best and that America's the greatest country in history. And then we got nothing to worry about.
Then we're good.
But because it's the reality. It's like he talked all about the Matrix, but he's literally the guy from the Matrix. Do you remember the guy who
Neo?
the dude who went into, he decided to take the pill and then he saw how shitty it is. He's eating oatmeal.
Yeah, they got the steak. The guy that ate the steak.
And then he's like, no, I want the other pill.
Yeah.
That's what he did.
Red pill or the blue pill?
He was in the Matrix in Romania eating oatmeal, and he was like, "Fuck that! I want a steak in America." And he came back. Like the irony is, he actually is the person he's describing in the Matrix, but just very differently. You're not Neo.
Yeah.
You're the guy that gave up on it.
Good point.
You came back to the Matrix,
And now he's back.
and you got to live with that decision, and that's fine. And we'll accept you because we're Americans, but we're a proud people. Don't go shitting on us, and then when you need us, come back, because it's basically like the same energy Brittany Griner got. They should get.
Well, what's even worse,
Right? Like, it's the same shit.
What is this, Rob, by the way?
So,
that you got? What clip is this?
yeah, because I know you want to move on, but I just want to make a point. So this is Timothy McBride. We don't have to see the video, but this is him sitting in front of kids, pretending to be a woman, reading a book, telling them it's okay to be transgender. So going to your guys' points, because you guys have kids, that's the problem with this
Yes.
group.
Is
that really what he's doing?
Yeah, trust me, 100%.
How long does this
that's
run?
why it's a problem.
This
So
is
it's almost a
48
minute.
seconds.
Play it real quick. Let me just see what he says.
She went with her family to the doctor, and the doctor said that she's a girl, and everyone should see her and treat her like a girl, right? Which is to say that they should call her Jazz, and they should treat her with respect and be nice to her. But can I ask you one more question? So that journey that she had from people thinking she was a boy and the fact that Jazz knew she was a girl.
Okay, so
You have no right to have this conversation.
and this was exactly why I said
No
it to him.
right
Pat.
to have this
Are you ready for this,
conversation.
Andrew? These people, and I feel bad for them. They can't have children and they can't multiply, so they want to come after your children because that's how they multiply. I'm telling you guys, and you made a great point, Pat. Why don't we take a step back, Andrew, and find out, like you guys said, have compassion. It's a brain disorder. Can we? Because everybody just wants to go, call me this, do this, chop it off, go for the kids. Time out. Take a step back. What is going on in here? Could we have a national psychiatry transgender sit them down and talk to these people and find out so that it doesn't keep happening for people? But that's how they multiply. They're sitting, your boy Timmy is sitting in a class saying, be like me, it's okay. Look at how young these kids are. They're not impressionable, these kids.
I think Democrats just need to have a conversation with parents, show that video, and then just have parents honestly tell them how it makes them feel. I think if you have honest interactions with people, you'll see how they react emotionally. And I think that they'll maybe create policy or change their positions based on that. They learned it based on this last election, I think. I think a lot of people chalk up this election to things that it maybe really wasn't. I think it's culture shift. You could say whatever it is, I think, but I think it's just culture shift. I think that there was a rejectionist agenda. I think in the same way that, when Trump lost, people were voting against Trump. I think with this election, people were voting against the administration. Not everybody was like this diehard Trump, I love this guy, MAGA forever. I think there are a lot of people who are like, I don't like what's happening, and they being the Kamala or the Biden administration are saying we're going to continue doing the same thing.
Well, because it's called equilibrium. Every 4 to 8 years, we have a culture war in this country, and we shift.
Oh, we always got a culture war.
Well, of course. And clearly, Trump won the culture war. But what I think is so amazing about this conversation here is you're not going to get this on mainstream media. What I love about Pat, and even what I love about Schulz is, hold on, but let's go there. Hold on, no. Go even deeper. Hold on, go even deeper. And where you go deeper and deeper and deeper is where you find the truth.
I know, Pat, I've seen you with your children. I understand who you are as a man. And I think that people need to realize how you become very primal when it comes to your children. Mm-hmm. And the reactions you're going to get when you make me feel like my child is going to be manipulated in some way and he could potentially be harmed are primal reactions. And that's not often the best discourse. You're getting the most raw version of me. Are you going to do something to my child? you start going, well, I'm going to kill you. Like that's how you feel. Like the idea of like, you have this conversation before you have kids all the time. Like, am I capable of like killing somebody? I don't know. You have a kid and it's like, kill everybody in this room. It's the easiest thing in the world, right? So I think it'd be very important, especially with these type of topics, like regardless of how you feel, you could be the most pro, you could be the most anti. You got to understand how parents feel and how you're making them feel. And if you don't, you'll lose every election for the next 100 years if you don't look into how you're making parents feel.
You know, on one hand, this conversation, you're talking about feelings and, hey, be respectful and have empathy, and I get that. But also juxtapose that with, no, there's actually the truth, and there's justice, and there's facts,
People don't care
and there's
about
reality.
People don't care about facts. They
No,
don't care about the truth.
but you should, because that's
yeah, we should do a lot of things, but we don't. I shouldn't eat bread every meal.
yeah, but
Do you know what I mean? But like,
sure. Hold on, Schulz. Having a low carb lifestyle is a little bit different than a
Ben Shapiro says
boy
facts don't
transitioning
care
to a
about your
girl.
feelings,
True.
right? He couldn't be more wrong. Feelings don't care about your facts. What is faith? Is faith a fact? Faith is a feeling. The most important thing
It's a belief.
It's a belief.
Believing in something you have not yet seen.
To me, that's a feeling.
That's a feeling,
Sure,
yeah.
it's not a
Sure.
fact. But
Sure.
so to me, the most important part of your constitution as a human being is a feeling. It is not a fact. And human beings are feeling-based people. That's why myths move us so much more. There's no movie that's just about data and facts. We're like, I don't give a fuck about that shit. But you put on some movie that matters to me, and I'm like, wow, this is incredible because it evokes feeling.
You're right, but at the same time, if I want to get reassurance, I seek facts.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know,
yes.
you know, facts tell, stories sell. I want to know the facts.
Yes.
And then based on my life experiences, I'm probably not going to like some of the facts because it's going to contradict what I thought was true
Yeah.
for 46 years. Or I'm going to sit down and be like, see. But it's either validation or like, oh, shit, I was wrong. But you're going to go through one of those.
because the truth passes through 3 stages. You know, say that sometimes the truth hurts, and I know you want to kind of wrap up here, but the truth passes through 3 stages. First, you're ridiculed. Second, you're violently opposed. And then it's accepted as being self-evident. That's exactly what's going on with this trans thing. It's like, no, let's just be nice to them. Let's help them. It's like, that's a dude who's dressing up as a
Guys,
woman.
can we,
and we want to pretend.
Let's transition to a normal story.
Transition?
Seriously,
You want to
I wanna
transition?
You want to trans?
The future looks bright. Spring collection is officially here. I don't know if you've noticed. The White House tweeted future looks bright this week.
Yep.
Everybody's tweeting. Ripple tweeted future looks bright. Wow. This new gear is the puff print, which, by the way, this right here, this will not last. This hat, future looks bright, will not last. You see the logo that pops. If you see the future looks bright,
kinda matches the
lettering
outfit.
that pops.
I like it.
Okay, we got this for Adam. We got this for some folks that if you want to wear the spring collection, we have this here. We have another color here again for spring collection, the brown one.
Buy
and then
two
we got
and do a
these
gender reveal.
Visors. Well, by the way, guys, these shirts. I dare you to order one. Wear it out. Okay.
That's
if
sick.
you don't get a compliment on it, message me. We'll give you 2 of these for free. Is
that the deal? No compliment.
Well, he's gonna do it here.
You get
Look
no
at this.
compliment.
If you don't get a compliment, we'll give you 2 more of those shirts that nobody likes.
Future looks bright. Look at this here. By the way, feel the material. How this
Feels good. It
This is
feels
called
really
the puff print. Feel
Yeah,
it. Feel
that's
the
wow.
material.
We'll make you a good deal. If
It's
nobody
sick.
like your shirt, you
Anyways,
get 2 more.
Spring collection.
Be
Go
like
out there
Don
and do
Lemon.
it.
Feel the nipples.
Anybody that places an order, we're putting in one of these new custom VT mugs that are here. That has been made for anybody that places an order. We're going to send you one mug as well. Spring collection, place your order before these things sell out. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.